Okay, so picture this, an AI that can watch a video and actually get what's going on. But here's the twist. It's not happening in some giant, far-off data center. It's happening right there on the device. That's what we're diving into today with something called SI Watcher. It's like having an AI detective on the spot. So yeah, let's get into it. And this right here is the core issue, isn't it? I mean, think about it. We've got billions of cameras out there recording every single second. It's this insane nonstop flood of video. There's no way any person or even an army of people could watch it all. So the big question is, how in the world do we find the important stuff in that ocean of data? All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start with this problem of unwatched video. Then we'll get into exactly what SciWatcher is and how it works its magic. After that, we'll talk about its secret sauce, what they call the edge advantage. We'll see some really cool real-world examples, and then wrap things up by looking at what this all means for the future. Okay, let's kick things off with the sheer scale of this challenge. It's kind of funny, right? We've put these digital eyes literally everywhere, but in a way, we're completely blind. We're not seeing most of what they record. The honest truth is, the vast majority of all that video footage, nobody ever sees it. It gets recorded, sits on a hard drive for a bit, and then poof, it's overwritten. And the idea of having people watch all those feeds live 24/7, forget about it. It's not just crazy expensive, it's just plain impossible. What we really need is something automated, something smart that can spot that one crucial moment, that needle in the haystack, in real time. And that is where SI Watcher comes into the picture. This is a totally new way of looking at video analysis. The whole idea is to change our cameras from just being dumb recorders into, active, smart observers. Yeah, I love this image. It's such a great way to think about it. SI Watcher is basically your on-site AI analyst. It's this tireless detective that never needs a coffee break, holding a magnifying glass right up to your video feed. And it's looking for exactly what you told it to look for, right there on the spot. The key thing to remember is it's not just seeing pixels, it's understanding context. So, let's get down to brass tacks. What is this thing? Well, SI Watcher is the whole shebang, a complete pipeline. It pulls in video and then uses a generative AI, kind of like ChatGPT, but for images and video, to figure out what's going on in the scene. Then it spits out useful, structured info. But, and this is the real kicker, it does all of this on the device itself, locally, no cloud involved. Okay, that sounds super impressive, right? But how does it actually do it? How do you go from a plain old video stream to something you can actually use? Let's walk through the process. The process is actually pretty straightforward when you break it down. First, it just taps into whatever video source you've got. Now, to save power and be super efficient, it's not analyzing every single frame. That'd be overkill. Instead, it just grabs frames every so often. It samples them. Then, each of those sample images gets fed to the Gen AI, which is really the brains of the whole operation. The AI looks at the picture, figures out what's happening, and translates that into clean, structured data. Like an alert that pops up, or an entry in a log file that another computer program can read. But here's the thing. The most revolutionary part about this isn't just that the AI can see. The real game changer is where it does the seeing. And this brings us to this hugely important idea called edge computing. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. The old way, the way we've done it for years, is cloud processing. You'd send all your data up to some massive server farm somewhere. That means you need a solid internet connection, you get delays, what we call latency, and of course, there are always privacy questions. Well, edge processing completely flips that script. The thinking, the analysis, it all happens right there on the local device. It's fast, it's private, and it works offline. So why is this such a big deal? Well, a few huge reasons. Number one, privacy. Super important, right? Your video footage never has to leave your device. It stays local. Number two, speed. We're talking practically zero delay. When you need a safety alert, you need it now, not seconds later. And number three, reliability. What if your internet goes out? With this, it doesn't matter. The system just keeps on chugging, totally independent from the cloud. All right, so we've talked about what this is and why the edge part is so important. Now for the fun part. Let's see where you can actually use an AI detective like this in the real world. Okay, check out this classic example, monitoring a factory floor. So you've got a camera aimed at a big machine on the assembly line. You tell SI Watcher, hey, Keep an eye out for anything weird, like if this part starts to smoke or if a product comes out looking wrong. The instant it spots an anomaly, bam, it sends an alert to a human operator. The person is still in charge, but now they have this super-powered assistant that literally never blinks. Now, this chart is super helpful because it really highlights what sets SI Watcher apart. So most vision systems out there are focused on just detecting objects. They'll say car, person, dog. That's it. SI Watcher, though, uses that generative AI to understand the reasoning behind the scene, the context. And look at the architecture. Most systems are these huge, resource-hungry things that rely on the cloud. SI Watcher is designed to be lean, efficient, and run on the edge, totally cloud-free. And maybe the best part? It's open source. That means anyone can tinker with it, add to it, and customize it for their own needs. That's a huge deal. And it's definitely not just for factories. You can imagine this being used all over the place. Think about smarter security systems or automated quality control. What about in a research lab to watch an experiment that runs for days? Or keeping an eye on a remote construction site where the internet is terrible? I mean, the possibilities here are pretty much endless. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and think about the big picture here. Because what we're talking about is more than just a cool piece of software. This is about a massive, fundamental shift in where AI actually lives and operates. Really, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. For a long time, AI was this abstract thing that happened in the cloud, far away. SA Watcher is a perfect example of how that's changing. Powerful AI is moving out of the data center and onto the edge. It's becoming local. It's getting embedded into the devices all around us. In short, our devices are finally learning how to see and understand the world for themselves. And that really leaves us with a pretty mind-bending question to chew on, doesn't it? As this kind of tech gets cheaper and more common, what happens when every device can see and understand its own environment? Every camera, every car, every robot in a factory, all making sense of the world on their own, in real time. What kind of future does that create?